Yo, what up, everybody? Okay, so I had some low IQ boomer, or I don't know, some barely literate person in the comments that didn't understand how to look up anything about these fake paid protesters. So first, I want to start the video out with that, and then we'll move on to the topic.
I don't know how you sleep at night. I would not do your job. I do not like it. So people can literally call your company and get a bunch of paid actors, if you will, to stand up there, hold signs, and scream on the street corner because that's what your company does.
Number one, it's not actors. We're providing activists who are truly engaged with the cause. Right?
But are they? I just showed you a video of a guy going, I don't even know why I'm here. They got signs and they got sheets and they said, go say this and talk to cameras and hold signs.
It's challenging for them to get sufficient turnout to a lot of these events, compensating people, just like Dan, you're compensated for hosting your program. These are your real views on this program, but you're compensated. Our protesters,
I am, but I don't pay my viewers to watch me.
Exactly.
So I love the fact that I can go on the street corner and say whatever the hell I want, a grievance against my government, or call my neighbor or whatever I want, because that's America. But I don't like that companies try to stage it all and hire people and set it up. It should be organic. The American people should want to come out, get on their soapbox, my show, I'm talking. They should come out and want to gather together and say, here's the cause I'm sticking up for. But you see, guys like you and the bureaucrats and the folks in D.C. love stirring up the pot between us Americans. And so you pay people to do this and you make a scene look bigger than it really is.
Yep.
You make an issue bigger than it truly is. And so I don't like your business. I'm going to end it there, but I appreciate you coming back on.
There you go. Now, the same guy was on Richard Madcow's show. So if you go to MSDNC, you can find the clip. He does the same thing on there. But over there, they celebrate him and they think like, wow, you're revolutionary, man. You're paying all these people to come to these protests. So it's going to make all these boomers think that we actually have the support that we don't. And it's literally, it's what's happening. It's like all boomers at this thing. And the Gen Z people, they do like one lap and then they're gone. And they all have the same signs. That's how you can tell. When I went to the last one, I thought I saw a really funny sign, and a bunch of people had the same one. And I started to notice that, and I was like, and I found a Craigslist ad too of an organization called 50 to 51 organization. These are the people that are paying the protesters on Craigslist to come down there in cash. So they're funding everything in California. So if you're just too much of a retard to do any research on your own, and you have an AI at your fingertips, you can literally just ask your AI. There's no hope for you in this world, and you're barely literate too. So, all right. So let's get on to the next topic. So great news happened today, and they are putting an end to Joe Biden's where he ignored the Supreme Court. Remember, the Supreme Court told him you can't forgive student loans, and what did he do? He did it anyway. So he ignored a direct order from the Supreme Court not to do it, and he did it anyways, which is what they keep accusing Trump of doing. I don't know why he's following the law actually, and he's abiding by what they're saying to the T. But for some reason, Joe Biden gets excused for this. But it doesn't matter because now your gender studies useless degree, your basket weaving useless degree, your trans rights degree, your drag queen story hour degree, all those worthless degrees that taxpayers paid for because you went delinquent on the loan, and Joe Biden suspended all that. Yeah, that's ending.
The Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion, but fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans? The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers, tax refunds, federal pensions, and even their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple. President Trump will not kick the can down the road anymore.
Well, the Education Secretary, Linda McMahon, has announced plans to claw back the $188 billion in student loan forgiveness granted under Joe Biden. In an op-ed in the Wall Street Journal, she writes, quote, debt doesn't go away. It gets transferred to others. If borrowers don't pay their debts to the government, taxpayers do. America's Newsroom co-anchor and the 5 co-hosts, Dana Perino, one of those people, also a taxpayer, joins us right now.
Yes, believe me, taxpayer.
Well, remember when this all happened, it looked like Joe Biden was trying to buy the votes of young people who had outstanding student loans.
100%.
Didn't work.
100% what it was. He was going to do it for everyone. Forgive everybody student loans. And then he started doing it for people that make $300,000 a year. Why does somebody that makes $300,000 a year have to have their student loan forgave, whatever?
But it cost all of us.
So it was a COVID-era policy. It's time for it to go away.
Yep.
Right.
What she announced yesterday, and in the Wall Street Journal piece today that I thought was very good, is that the gravy train is over. And also remember, it was Nancy Pelosi who said, Joe Biden doesn't have the legal authority to do this. They tried to do it anyway. The courts kept pushing it back. So they had false hopes, false promises to people. And I understand the student loan debt can be a burden. It doesn't mean that the system shouldn't be changed or that the interest rate couldn't be lowered. But they are going to have to pay it back. Nobody helped somebody that bought an F-150 as a plumber pay that bill.
Right.
And none of us should have to. They pay their bills. Everyone should pay their bills. It doesn't mean the system can't be reformed.
Here's what she writes. I have another hard truth for the institutions that made empty promises to students while pocketing their loan dollars. Colleges and universities call themselves nonprofits, but for years they have profited massively off the federal subsidy of loans, hiking tuition and piling up billion-dollar endowments, while students graduate 6 figures in the red.
Right. So
or don't graduate at all. And they just drop out and they got student loan racked up. And of course they're not going to pay it. They didn't get anything for it.
Truth in advertising is good. Better decision making is also good. The other thing that she says is that they have set up more help to help figure out a way so that the payment can fit your budget. That has to come true. They have to be able to answer the phone and get answers for that. Hopefully that will work out. She's also using artificial intelligence to help make that happen.
No kidding. Yeah. Call some
Moment. If you are in default on your student loans, this story is for you. The Education Department could begin collecting payments by garnishing your wages to collect on that money. Now, the Education Department made that announcement Monday, saying they could start collecting loan money starting May 5th. That's in less than 2 weeks. The involuntary collection will be done through the Treasury Department's offset program that pulls back delinquent debts by withholding payments such as tax refunds, federal salaries, and Social Security benefits. More than 5 million borrowers are in default and 4 million more.
Having your wages garnished is a bitch, I'll tell you that. That happened to me for a whole year. I'll tell you in a sec.
Could be in the same position in a few months. Less than 40% of borrowers are current on their student loan payments, according to the department. So what's next? You'll receive an email informing you of the next steps to take and urging everyone to look into their repayment options. Wage garnishing notices will be sent out as early as this summer. Now, if you remember, former President Joe Biden had attempted to wipe out student loan debt across the country, but eventually the courts ruled that he misled borrowers about his actual authority to be able to take such an action. In the same announcement, the department added there will not be any mass loan forgiveness at any point in the near future. So again, the next step is you should look for an email, and that will guide you on what your options are. I'm Brianna Boudreau, and that's your Monday Moment on this.
So having your wages garnished sucked. I was working in a restaurant at the time. I was living off tips. They were garnishing my wages off. I never got a paycheck. It was just zero every single couple weeks. And they don't do it like in a process. They do it every single check. I had a bunch of driving tickets. I had a bunch of like getting pulled over without a license, and then I just didn't show up to court, and I had racked up a bunch of them, and I got arrested. First, they just started garnishing the wages for like a whole year. And the tickets, I thought, oh, well, they're getting paid off. They're in collections, whatever. Then I got pulled over again, and they took me straight to jail. I went to 7-Eleven to get a Gatorade. Boom, got pulled over. They're like, hey, you got like 4 warrants for your arrest. Took me straight to jail. I was in jail for like 8 days. And I got out. I still thought, oh, well, this is all taken care of now. I went to jail and for 8 days for traffic tickets. And they ended up, nothing happened. But I did go to court after that because I wanted to get all my stuff taken care of. And the judge expelled or whatever he called. They suspended all my tickets and gave me like a $500 base fee that I could pay a monthly payment on. They just wrapped them all together. And I ended up getting pulled over again after that for some stupid headlight above my back windshield. And I had another warrant, but my license was valid because the judge had my license reinstated, and I was doing everything, making my payments. And the cop even said, I don't know how you have a license. I don't know why your license is valid. It's not or your license isn't suspended, but you have a warrant. So I got arrested again, but this time I only spent a couple hours in jail. My bail was like $30 or something ridiculous like that. But yeah, it sucks, man. And they took all my tax returns for like 2 years, 3 years. They just kept taking them. But then it just finally stopped. And I don't know. I think because I took care of everything in court, it stopped. But man, this sucks for these people because these people were sold a dream. Like most Democrats, they sell you a dream, and then it's meant for the other people to have to pay for your dream to come true. Which, you take a loan, you should pay that loan. Like my parents told me, it's extremely important. If you ever take a loan out, you have to pay the loan. It'll screw you over so bad in the future. But what he did was make it so it didn't screw people over. So let's take a look at what some unhinged libtards are reacting to this. Why do they always look like this, bro? This is the same guy? This guy's like a star on Libs of TikTok.
On student loans. All that time that the loans were frozen, that was the time where the hackers needed to get into the system and erase all of the student loans.
Somebody needs to. I don't have accountability. What's that?
How are they going to be dismantling the Department of Education, but they want everyone to pay back their student loans? But you're dismantling the whole system that the student loans are in.
That doesn't mean you just don't, that you're like, we start at ground zero, like Y2K. This guy is like, this is libtard logic. This is like straight up libtard logic. Well, I thought you said you're dismantling the public education system. So that means my student loans are forgiven, right? Right? What?
You're not going to get rid of those student loans. You're still going to have to pay them. Of course, they're going to make everyone pay their student loans, even if they actually got rid of the Department of Education fully. Of course, they're still going to want that money. It's just actually fucking
you borrowed it.
Now, I know we stand as tall and strong on not doing a goddamn thing, but in the middle,
because we kings and queens up in this bitch.
finna have to lean forward. They talking about garnishing what for who? Come May 5th, they talking about garnishing checks for fucking student loans. Mecca, do you see what you have done? Now, it's over 5 million people already in debt for student loans. We were protected during Biden run. They're lifting that protection and making us pay. So, we can, switch that direct deposit to checks and just, because they gonna have to come get it in blood. Pick back up the winter boots. I know it's springtime, but it is what it is. Taking out y'all poor decisions that y'all made going into this 2025 project on us, and now just trying to make us go down with you? Because the terrorists off the bat was the horrible move. The Pope didn't pass from seeing JD, but y'all paying Katie $60 million to go motherfucker lie about being in space. Y'all love a good distraction before the bullshit.
That's a libtard project. That ain't have nothing to do. What does she think Elon Musk did that? Bro, I can barely understand what this chick has all these student loans. You think she'd take an English class? She's barely literate. Like I can't even understand her.
They can't garnish this cash. They're gonna have to come get it back in blood.
And what is this? Like what is all these chicks are? See, these chicks aren't masculine. They're just not feminine. You know what I mean? There ain't a feminine bone in these chicks' bodies, bro. Like, what are you talking about? Get back in blood. What the fuck?
Got us. They done got us.
Yeah, now you crying. Yeah, you were so tough there a second ago. Now you look at you crying, bro. What a crybaby, weakling. Because you have to look at that credit score dropped 246 points. Yeah, what? You lame, bro. You're straight up lame. Like, you got money for it? Pay it back. Look at you got a brand new weave. You got like some name brand head thing on you. You got look at the nice clothes you're wearing. You tell me you don't got the money to pay back your loan?
Everything else was a joke, but this here, you got me this time.
I know as the 92%, we're supposed to just not do nothing.
And what do you think? What do you think she got a degree in? What do you think she got a degree in?
And we're just supposed to sit back and let Trump supporters find out. But like, when are we gonna step in exactly? Because now they finna garnish our checks. They finna garnish our checks for these student loans.
Bro, it's not funny. You're going to have to work a lot harder. I had to work a lot harder. I work like every single day when they were doing that, living off tips.
So I just want to know what's the plan? What we finna do?
Get a job
Are we
in
just
a
gonna sit back
restaurant.
and not do nothing for real, for real?
That new student loan update, talking about y'all gonna start garnishing wages. Let me tell you something. I left student debt with the higher power a long time ago.
And, we know that she's not making the right life choices because there's a kid, he's probably about 5. And on that hand, you can see right there, there's no wedding ring. There's no ring finger. So she's got student loans. She's not married. And she's got a kid. Okay.
With God.
And she's obese.
This let me tell y'all something. They want to keep us poor so bad.
No, you want to keep yourself poor. There is so much information out there for these people, but they just choose to ignore it.
Keep us in debt so bad. People can barely afford mortgages, rent, any other bills that they have. Barely fucking surviving, and you want to start collecting on a student debt that ain't nobody worried about.
What are we doing? Are we robbing banks? Please tell me before I have to get another job. And this is really pissing me off because I'm engaged and like how I'm supposed to pay for a wedding.
Yeah, you can kiss that wedding goodbye, bro. As soon as he finds out, he's gonna, if he marries you, his checks will be garnished because of you, from taking on your debt. Yeah, he better think twice about that. Hey, if you see this, bro, which you probably won't, I do not marry this chick. Liability.
How I'm supposed to buy a house and I have to pay for student loans?
Oh yeah, you're gonna have to worry about that.
Payment or
you know
pay
that's
off all the student loans first.
Way past.
And nobody wants to stay in a high, expensive apartment for life. Like they know exactly what they're doing, and we got to stick together. We got to come up with a plan because I'm not about to do this.
Yeah, so you see now you heard that liberals.
Wow, so the no accountability crew, strikes again. I mean, what did you expect, man? But this is glorious to see, bro. I'm so glad this is finally getting taken care of because we didn't know what was going to happen with this. Their loans were all just postponed, and I honestly figured that we were going to have to eat that. And, depending on what state you live, like, we're getting taxed up the ass out here in California. So this is, like, if we would have had to eat all their debt, their student loans, Gavin Newsom just took another $5 billion loan out because this guy he he spent so much money on these illegals and on this homeless crisis. He's put this state in so much debt, and he's complaining about the tariffs because it's going to hurt California's economy. Bro, you hurt California's economy. The decisions that you made about our economy have hurt this economy. We have the highest state income tax. We have the highest gas tax. And you're telling me we're broke? The state's broke? Dude, they take 1/4 of our check. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. This is good news, though. I'm just glad somebody has to be held accountable.